Hey guys, how you doing? This is Glenn Griffiths of Griffiths Insurance and Financial Services. It is early 2024, and I am inclined to talk some more about critical illness. Now, I've been doing quite a few videos lately on critical illness, and I get the question, why do you keep harping on this thing so much? Well, here's the reality. Critical events are happening rapidly around us. I did an exercise a few years back the first time. I had everybody in a room of about 300 people stand up, and I said, okay, if you personally know someone who's had cancer, heart attack, or a stroke, sit down. There's less than 10% of the room left standing. What does that tell us? That tells us that people are having critical events. Now, why are we going through that? Well, here's why. We may not be able to stop those events. We can do some things to help minimize, but we may not be able to stop them. But while we can't stop them, we can definitely put ourselves and our families in a better position to ride through them. What do I mean? Well, is there any health issue where stressing about money helps you get better faster? Don't believe so, right? So, being in the insurance business, risk mitigation, one of the biggest things that I'm bringing awareness to my clients on is critical illness coverage. And I'll tell you this, guys, I deal with several different companies, 20 to be precise. And if you're in the best shape, we can get you the best coverages, but we can also get you some simplified issue coverage if you're in a position where you think I can't qualify. In fact, I deal with one company that, regardless of where you are, they will give you some critical illness. Now, with those simplified issue, all it means is that there's going to be some exclusions or at least a time period where you can't claim on certain things. But that's great news because it is still available to you. So all of us have the opportunity to protect ourselves and to better equip ourselves and our families to get through these events, right? Now, I always get this one. I've got this one the last 20 years and I love it. There is no such history in our family. We're fine. We take care of ourselves. Nothing like that happens. Well, I'm going to tell you this. I've had two siblings who passed away before the age of 50, right? And both of them would qualify for a critical illness claim. That's all I'm going to say on that with my own family experience. And we didn't have a history of anything before, right? I have seen enough clients go through some tough moments. And again, while having more cash, tax-free cash and a lump sum walk through the door is very helpful as far as recovery. And how that works is recovery and treatment. It's not that it makes it better, but when you remove the financial stress of worrying, how am I going to pay my bills? Even if I have benefits at work, I'm getting less than I used to get. So I have to go back faster than maybe I should because I can't afford to be off any longer. No. We get rid of that. We want you to concentrate on getting better. And if not, because the possibilities sometimes you don't, then having the best possible quality of life you can for the time you have left. Believe me when I tell you, there is nothing more important than the time you can get when you're ill to take care of and to say to those around you what you really, truly want to say. Now, if you have the proper critical illness insurance, that will definitely help you in that it takes away the financial stress or at least minimizes it so you can have the time to concentrate on treatments, getting better, or just to spend time and enjoy with those who depend on you and who love you. Huge plus. I'm saying this with such passion because I have delivered several critical illness checks, and I'm talking from as little as 25 grand and up. We're talking one of them was on a child that was early teens, right? Right up till late 60s. There is no rhyme or reason for illnesses sometimes. They just happen and the devastation comes with them. I talked about a child, yes. I make sure children get covered. I had a parent cover a child that was 11 months old the other day for some critical illness. Why? Because stuff happens. I've heard, Glenn, wait a second. You know, kids don't have an income. What are we covering? Let me ask you something. If your child is critically ill and in and out of the hospital, are you going to work? Well, let me put it another way. If your child is critically ill in and out of the hospital, would you want the choice to not have to go to work? Because we realize that sometimes when you don't have the coverage, you're going to work. You may not want to, but you're going to work because you got to take care of everything else and that child. What kind of stress does that add? What kind of stress does that add? If you can remove the financial stress or at least minimize it to help you, how big of a gift to yourself and your family is that? Now, ultimately, we hope nothing happens to our children. Nobody wants that. But being prepared is huge. And you know what happens when you get prepared by having a policy on a child early? You've locked in their insurability, so if anything comes up later, they're already qualified. You've got the coverage at the cheapest price possible. And as with most children's policies, I'd say you have a limited pay period where you can have this thing paid off that will sit there and follow them for if and when such an event happens. And then if nothing ever happens, they can trigger the return of premium because that's an option you can add as well. And the money that you paid into that can come back, right? So I wanted to talk about that a little bit because there's plenty of critical illness out there, and I've helped clients, those who can qualify for the best, and I've helped clients who have terrible health where they think they could never get anything, where I've showed them and placed with them policies that will still cover them with some exclusions, but that's where my expertise comes in to match them up with the proper products, right? It's about having the best for you and having it there for when you need it. Now, don't get me wrong. I've had some friends, I've had some prospects and clients say to me, I'm in the best health. I've never had anything happen to anyone in my family. This is a waste of money. I don't need this. Now, I always chuckle because I've seen stuff happen to all types of people. But here's the reality. I ask them if they want to bet on themselves, and they go, what do you mean? I go, okay, if I can get you a critical illness policy, okay, where it pays out no matter what. You're going to get your money back or get the face amount you're covered for, which is much higher. You go, what do you mean? I go, okay. So let's say you have a policy. We set it up where if you pass away and it wasn't from a critical illness, so there's no payout for critical illness, all the premiums you've paid go to your family or beneficiaries. If you keep it and nothing happens, you have no claims, kind of like those who've had a car or a house where they've never made a claim on the last 20, 30 years, guess what? You have the option to cancel and get your money back down the road. So it's a forced savings. But here's the big but. If a critical event happens, you're going to get paid out multiple times the amount of money you put into this thing. So your worst case scenario, okay, your worst case scenario is financially anyway. Financially, your worst case scenario is you forced yourself to save some money in an instrument that you will later reward yourself with when you decide to cancel it down the road. That's your worst case financial scenario. It's your best case health scenario because it means nothing happened to you that was claimable. But if you pass away along the way, the money you paid for that policy goes to your beneficiaries. Now, that in itself is another forced savings because that's another favorite of people who say, I don't believe in insurance. I'll just save my money and invest on the side. Okay. Very few do that. Very few do that. But if that critical event happens, you have this lump sum in the next month or two that walks in your door tax free. And there is nothing more satisfying than delivering those policies and those benefits. And you know why? Because unlike a death benefit that is generally left for a family, the person who signed up for it, who had the forethought and acted on it, gets to collect that check. So you are here for me to hand that to you so you can then decide, how am I going to spend this? Am I going to spend this on recovery? Am I going to spend this on a trip with the family? Am I just going to pay some bills and not stress about it? Up to you. Totally tax-free delivery of a claimable benefit. So one or another, you pass away, your premiums paid come back to your family for savings. You pay off the policy. Let's say we did a 20-year pay. You have no claims. You can have this policy going up till a certain time, 70, your age 75 or age 100. But if you have no claims at any time after that time period, you can cancel and get all your money back. Or if you have a claimable event while your policy is in force, you get paid out the lump sum that you're insured for tax-free. I am very passionate about this product. I keep pushing forward in talking to my clients about this product because we need it. We need it. I see far too many GoFundMe that shouldn't be necessary. We need it. So I'm going to continue to talk about them. I'm going to continue to put that in front of my clients and prospects. And I'm going to continue to work with the ones who step forward and say, yes, I want to protect myself and my family. Let's do this. And, you know, I won't mention the name because I deal with quite a few companies, but I'll tell you, products have gotten so much better in so many ways. There is one company I deal with because we know life happens. Very few things go according to plan and always as smoothly as we'd like. So let's say, you know, you've got this policy, we put on these return of premiums on them. You're paying for this thing 15 years down the road. You're not quite at that 20 year yet, but 15 years down the road, I don't know, maybe you paid 25, 30,000 into it. I don't know, depending on the amounts we set up. It could be higher, it could be lower. And life just throws you a heck of a curveball with some wicked lemons. And you're like, you know what, I might have to cancel this because I'm short money over here and I need this and I don't know where to get it from, so I'm probably gonna have to cancel this. Now, how would you feel having to cancel something after that long? Well, if you've had me as an advisor and I've set you up the way I'd like to set you up, I'm gonna say to you, hold on a second, hold on. Did you know that because you have certain options added to this policy, and you have a return of premium, even though we haven't hit the 20-year yet where it's fully recoverable, we can actually get you a loan against the return of premium and give you cash to go do what you want while keeping the policy in place because, again, life happens. What kind of flexibility and options are those? These are just some of the things that working with me and others like myself can help you to attain for your family. We give you coverage, we give you protection, we give you peace of mind, and we give you options, especially when you need them most. So, my critical illness talk, as you can tell, guys, I'm passionate about this. I make sure I have critical illness, I make sure my kids are covered. It is not something that's a thought, right? We're going to get it because life happens. And hopefully nothing happens to them when they're young and they have this they can use for their kids or their grandkids going forward. So anyway, just wanted to come out and chat about that, tell you about the options that are out there, regardless of your health. Let me repeat that. Regardless of your health, you can attain some critical illness coverage. And I say this to you, if your health is off and it's not fantastic, then you're probably going to need it more than somebody who is, because the chances are if something's already gone bad in your health, it's likely it's easier for other things to happen. So let's get you guys covered, give you some peace of mind, and try to get you in that stress-free way of living, or at least greatly reduce stress. All right, so Glenn Griffiths of Griffiths Insurance and Financial Services. I'm here to help, and I want to help you protect yourself and your family and give you more peace of mind. Thank you. Talk to you soon.